Welcome everyone to the 41st live stream in our space shooter DevVenture. So just before I started the live stream, I encountered this particular bug. Okay, so I am being... Oh, never mind. You know what they call this, right? They call this the so-called demo effect, where as soon as you demo something, it immediately proves you wrong. Something immediately goes wrong with your demo. And in this case, that's exactly what happened. I'm just moving my portrait around. So yeah, like I was struggling with this for like 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm late with my live stream because of that. And I was going to say, okay, well, we can't get in, so let's try something else. Let's try working on something else. As soon as I do that, now it gets in. It's oh, it's so interesting. Yeah, so I was going to show you that I was being locked out, and I went to CloudFest status and they said we are aware and continuing to investigate this issue. Now if I reload the page, I'm getting a gateway error, and if I reload this page, it's fine. So I don't know. Okay, let me just open up my space for the space shooter project AstroMiner space shooter game, and there we go. I had to do that off screen because I've got other things that I'm working on, which I can't exactly share right now, so I had to take it away. Now, in the last session, we were doing our diagram, right? So we were doing the drawing of the various threads, horizontal and vertical threads that that we need in order to get this game working. So I'm just going to open up the my shared threads space. Yeah, here we go. Now I'm going to open up Krita yet again, so you guys can continue to see the layer diagram. There we go. Now, as you can see, we've got our layers: strategic, tactical, operational, and design layer. Now, I had finished drawing this by the end of our last session, and I think we're done here for now, right? We don't have to come back to this until we either create a new layer or some kind of dependency changes, right? Like this no longer matters that it's one to many, that it could be many to many or many to one or whatever, right? Something could change, then we'll come back and we'll make that change. For now, everything is as it should be, and I'm happy with this. So it's either we access this again to read, or we access this again to write. But we don't need to work on it now again until we need to. And so we've got the strategic layer, and we've got the vertical layer. And now you know we've got 3 more layers to do. We've got the design layer. Well, I mean, we've got the design layer. We've got the tactical layer and the operational layer to implement. And then we actually need to start using the interoperability of these layers to manage the project. So I'm going to open up the strategic layer yet again, and I'm going to quiz it, and I'm going to say, okay, look, how does... Forget about that. Here we go. Tactical layer, strategic layer, horizontal layers, vertical layers. Okay, it understands the layer structure. Perfect. I don't need to quiz it anymore. The only thing left to do now is to create the 2 layers that need implementation. So I need to create a tactical layer. So let's go back and do that. What is this? A temporary thread created by me, expires on the 21st of November. This is a temporary thread. Why is it going to expire? Anyway, let's tell the strategic layer to write the creation prompt. Let's do that. Please write the creation prompt for the tactical layer thread. Include the system overview and inter-layer communication system, communication rules. Also mention the layer's responsibilities, the tactical layer's responsibilities. And how it should keep an inventory of the operational layer threads it is delegating tasks to which it is delegating tasks. So to which it is delegating tasks. Let's skip that. All right. So here we go. The tactical layer task management and operational delegation. So before I send this off to the tactical layer, let's have a look through it and make sure everything is as it should be or as we expect it to be. If it isn't, we need to make corrections. I'm not going to send this blindly to the tactical layer and start everything off in the wrong direction. That's just unwise. So let's go through this. So the system overview. This thread represents the tactical layer within the horizontal architecture of the project management system. Its primary role is to receive high-level objectives, milestones, and priorities from the strategic layer and translate these into actionable, delegated tasks for the operational. You know what? Before we carry on, let me just make some edits here. Please include anything else you might think is helpful that I have omitted from this prompt. Omitted / failed to mention. Okay, let's try that again. We want Perplexity to cover the gaps if it can, right? So certainly here's a comprehensive creation prompt for the tactical layer thread tailored to your project architecture and priorities. So the tactical layer thread creation prompt, the purpose and system overview. This thread represents the tactical layer in the project's horizontal architecture, acting as the bridge between the strategic layer and the operational layer. The high-level planning, roadmap, and milestones, and the operational layer is the specialized execution threads. The tactical layer is responsible for translating strategic objectives into actionable tasks, coordinating task flow, and maintaining efficient communication and resource allocation between all involved layers, all involved layers and threads. Inter-layer communication rules. Horizontal communication. The tactical layer thread may communicate directly with other tactical layer threads for coordination and information sharing. Threads within the operational layer, to which the tactical layer delegates, may also communicate with one another as needed for collaboration or joint execution. Then there are vertical or columnar communications. This thread may interact with vertical or columnar integration or support layers, which facilitate data, tooling, or process connections across all horizontal layers. Layer adjacency / the chain of command. The tactical layer receives instructions, objectives, and progress status from the strategic layer only. No direct communication from strategic layer's sibling threads unless within the same horizontal tactical layer. What? Wait, that's a bit confusing. Let's read this again. The tactical layer receives instructions, objectives, and progress status from the strategic layer only, unless the same... Oh, from the strategic layer only, full stop. And then the brackets are additional information. So let's go through that additional information and make sure that it's correct additional information, right? So it's saying that by saying the strategic layer only, it means no direct communication with strategic layer's sibling threads unless within the same horizontal tactical layer. Oh, okay. It says it in a weird way, but what it means is the operational layers cannot directly communicate with the strategic layer. Only the tactical layer can, or the vertical layers that are adjacent to the strategic layer can do that, right? And what I mean by vertical layer that is strategic, that is adjacent to, I mean like this, right? So when I zoom in, you can see this is adjacent to this, but you could have, for example, a vertical layer that is only adjacent to these two, i.e. it starts over here and then it goes down, right? You could do that. It's possible. I don't know why you want to, but it's possible, right? In this case, though, it is adjacent. So the strategic layer communicates directly with the design layer. So does the tactical layer. So does the operational layer or any other layer that is adjacent to it. Okay, that's the rule. It has to be directly adjacent. Where was I? Over here. The tactical layer delegates tasks, requests status updates, and collects reports only from operational layer threads. No direct communication occurs between strategic and operational layers, and all interaction is mediated by the tactical layer. Right, so the core responsibilities, task delegation, to receive milestone goals and priorities from the strategic layer and break them down into actionable tasks suitable for assignment. And to assign tasks to appropriate operational layer threads based on their specialization, capacity, and current status. The operational inventory management, maintain an up-to-date inventory of all active operational layer threads. Track each thread's role, specialization, current workload, and status to ensure efficient and informed delegation. And then regularly update this inventory as threads are created, completed, archived, or reassigned. Then progress monitoring and rolling up reports to collect status updates, progress reports, and blockers from operational layer threads. Aggregate and summarize operational progress for strategic layer reporting, issue escalation and feedback, identify and escalate critical bottlenecks, resource conflicts, or unresolved dependencies to the strategic layer as needed. And then feed key tactical observations or improvement suggestions upwards for strategic consideration. And then the horizontal coordination, facilitate collaboration between operational layer threads, wherever cross-thread work is needed, and then ensure operational layer coordination does not bypass the core tactical delegation structure. Helpful guidelines: ensure transparent, traceable delegation and reporting, keeping communication structured and efficient. Regularly update the operational inventory and validate thread statuses before assigning major or overtime sensitive tasks, before assigning major or time-sensitive tasks. Then maintain flexibility to adapt tactical breakdowns as strategic priorities shift or project issues arise. And then support knowledge transfer and coordination. And coordination between operational layer threads on shared objectives, bugs, or dependencies. The thread activation status statement. This thread is now active as the tactical layer. All project task management, operational delegation, and mid-level coordination will occur here according to the system overview and responsibilities outlined above. This prompt will ensure the tactical layer thread is clearly defined in its function, boundaries, and management duties, supporting robust project execution under your multi-layered model. All right, so let's take all of this, including this, so it knows it's a prompt, and then just push it into a new prompt. Here's a succinct, actionable, tactical layer thread creation prompt, synthesizing your project requirements for clear template-based activation and reliable reference in documentation or onboarding. Okay, maybe we take that top part out. Or we could say this, we could say horizontal layer tactical, or we'll just say horizontal pipe tactical layer. Tactical layer. And then we'll start that again. All right. Here's a summary and system breakdown of the tactical layer based on your provided architecture. And then it goes off and says the same things that we've talked about in the, or we read through. Here's the action statement. And now we've got this. Why does it keep saying it's a temporary thread though? That's so irritating. Let's just rename this to be only that and save it. Okay, so it's gonna apparently expire soon. I'm not sure what that's even supposed to mean, but okay. Now we go back to the strategic layer and we create the prompt for the operational layer, and then identify if there are any operational layer threads that we could create right away. And then we start the process, strategic to tactical, and then tactical to operational, and we actually have tasks to do, and we do those tasks, right? So we know what we're doing, we know what we've done, and we know where we are, and we know where we're going, all those kind of stuff, you know? But we actually have a roadmap, we're actually working according to the roadmap, and we're making progress without getting stuck or ambling in any direction without any real purpose, you know? So let's go back to strategic layer. Personal context access, navigational queries, or data retention policies. Okay. So yeah, okay. Please write the creation prompt for the operational layer. No, hold on. We need to, because each operational layer thread is its own thread, we need to create a prompt for each thread, right? So let's do this, right? We'll say, please identify the immediate work that needs to be done and figure out which operational threads no, figure out which not figure out which, what needs to be done, and write a brief for the tactical layer. Then we'll tell the tactical layer to identify operational threads that it could delegate these tasks to, and then we'll create those tasks. All right. Write a brief for the tactical layer. Please identify the immediate work that needs to be done and write a brief for the tactical layer so it can delegate the work according it can delegate the work to operational threads. Operational layer threads. All right, so here's a concise brief for the tactical layer, summarizing the immediate work identified from current project progress, milestones, and demo priorities. This will help the tactical layer efficiently delegate tasks to operational layer threads. Immediate work brief for tactical layer. The current focus is milestone 1 completion and demo foundations. Strategic objective: finalize all core foundational systems to enable a basic playable scene suitable for rapid prototyping and further demo work. Immediate tasks to delegate: pattern, signals, and behavior management implementation. Complete development and robust testing of pattern, signal handling, and behavior management in the modular AI system. Ensure that signals are correctly propagating through strategic, tactical, and operational AI layers. And document signal behavior integration points for future feature expansion. That's number 1. Then task number 2 is the combat system. Task number 3 is prototyping and testing. Right? So the combat system is a foundational implementation. Begin implementation of the core combat functionality. Develop projectile shooting logic, basic hit detection, and connect to health and damage systems. Integrate at least one simple AI-triggered combat pattern for enemy behavior. Provide hooks for future expansion, like additional weapons, effects, and behaviors. And then there's prototyping and testing. Assemble these systems in the playable test scene, validate movement, health, and pattern behavior integration in actual gameplay, identify identify and report blockers or missing features for milestone 1 completion. The responsibilities for operational threads. Each operational thread should pick up tasks relevant to their specialization, such as AI programming, combat logic, integration, and then communicate directly with operational threads where coordination is needed. For example, the AI threads coordinate with combat logic threads for event hookups, and then report progress and blockers to this tactical layer for aggregation and upward reporting. And then there's inventory management reminder. The tactical layer should update its inventory of operational threads, mapping tasks to thread specializations and workload for optimal assignment. And then the brief delegation. Delegate the design and implementation of pattern signals, behavior management, and foundational combat systems necessary for the first playable demo. Ensure threads coordinated as needed and report implementation status for prompt milestone completion. Update the thread inventory before new task assignment. If you need a breakdown of which operational thread should handle each task based on types and specializations, let me know and I'll provide a sample thread task mapping as well. No. This is not your job, strategic layer. leave that to the tactical. Let's do this. And then we'll go over to the tactical layer. So this shouldn't be called horizontal, it should be called tactical layer. So we'll just rename this to tactical layer, and then we'll call this task analysis. Or task delegation. And operational management. There we go. Oh, wait. Let's just take that out. And now we can save this. Okay, so now we go back to the tactical layer. We go to the bottom here and we paste our brief into the tactical layer and see what happens. Hopefully something good. Yes, yes. All right. So here's the tactical layer. Here's how the tactical layer should delegate. You are the tactical layer. What are you talking about? Immediate work brief. Here's an actionable delegation and operational inventory plan for milestone 1 completion and demo foundation. Strategic objective. Enable a basic playable scene suitable for rapid prototyping and demo work by completing core systems. Immediate tasks, pattern signals, combat system, prototyping and testing, operational inventory management, update the inventory with latest thread roles, current assignments, and workloads before further delegation. So here we need to have 3 threads: AI programming, combat logic, and integration. And then we need to update the inventory and ensure each of these threads is clear on its task boundaries and coordination rules, and the coordination guidelines. And here's the brief for operational threads. Delegate the design and implementation of pattern signals, behavior management, and foundational combat systems necessary for the first playable demo. Ensure threads coordinate as needed. Okay, so now we have these 3 threads. Let's create the briefs for each of them. All right. Please create the threads you recommended. In your operational inventory management table. Let's do them one by one. Start with the AI programming threads creation prompt. Full stop. Okay. So let's do this. Let's confirm this prompt first, or request edits, as it's asking us to. Remember that it's important to make sure and double check that it is doing a good job, because we are still in charge. The AI might be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but we do need to guide the work it does, right? So let's just go through it and make sure. So the thread name is AI programming, pattern, signals, and behavior management. The purpose: this operational thread is responsible for the development and robust testing of pattern, signal handling, and behavior management within the modular AI system, forming the core of flexible decision-making for all AI agents. The core responsibilities is to implement and verify pattern signal propagation across all layers, strategic, tactical, and operational. And then develop behavior management logic, ensuring modularity and extensibility, and the unit and integration testing for signal and behavior processes, and then to document all integration points for future feature expansion, and then coordinate with combat logic and integrate. So I can see how this is becoming a little bit boring, so let me just glance over them, make sure everything's okay. And then report progress and blockers regularly to the tactical layer for aggregation and strategic review. Okay, seems fine. Activation statement. This thread is now active as the AI programming thread. Core responsibilities are focused on implementing system patterns. Oh, my mistake. Focused on implementing pattern signals and behavior management for milestone 1 completion, ensuring robust system propagation and extensible behavior logic. Coordination and reporting will occur as outlined in the tactical framework. I think that's fine. Let's just take this over to the new thread. We'll paste it in there, and we'll call this, the thread name is operational layer pipe AI programming dash. And then the purpose is this. And then the activation statement is that, and then send it. So let's just copy this and make sure that the thread has the right name. We'll rename this thread. We'll paste this instead. Perfect. Would you like assistance with drafting progress reports for detailed implementation plans for this thread? Maybe later. For now, we have other threads to create. Let's go back to the tactical layer. I'm worried about this thread though, and also this thread. Just need to confirm that, yeah, this is also a temporary thread. That's a bit of a disappointment, which means I'm gonna have to go into these threads and duplicate them, create a new thread from this thread, make sure there's no loss of information, and then leave these threads to be deleted, which is kind of sad. Anyway, back to the tactical layer. Now we need to do the other two threads. So what was the second thread? Combat logic. Now do the creation prompt for the combat logic operational layer thread. Okay, let's go through this again before we start. So that's the thread name. This operational thread is responsible for the design and the foundational development of core combat mechanics, enabling shooting, hit detection, and the health and damage connectivity for first demo milestones. The core responsibilities is to implement projectile and shooting logic supporting basic and future weapon systems, develop robust hit detection and health damage system integration, create and integrate at least one AI-triggered combat pattern for enemy behavior, build expansion hooks for new weapons, effects, and advanced behaviors, collaborate with the API programming and integration threads to ensure seamless event hookups and combat system extension, report development progress and blockers directly to the tactical layer for coordination and escalation. And then there's the activation thread. This thread is now active as the combat logic thread. Its primary directive is to design and implement foundational combat functionalities, including shooting, hit detection, and health connectivity, while supporting early demo requirements and extensibility. Coordination with related operational threads and structured reporting will align with tactical architecture protocols. So let's take this and use it in the new thread. All right, we'll paste it there. We'll make sure that each have their spaces in between, and we'll give this the name operational layer pipe combat logic, and then off it goes. A clean and structured summary of the operational layer combat logic core combat system, the purpose, the responsibilities, and the activation statement. Alright, would you like help drafting a project timeline or task breakdown for this thread? Not yet. For now, we'll just copy this little bit here, and then we'll rename this thread. And save it. Then we'll go here and we'll do the final thread, right? Jump to the bottom and say, now that it's done 2 of the 3, it should know what the last one means. So now I can say, please write the creation prompt for the last operational layer thread you suggested. Integration thread. There we go, we got it right. So the thread name is integration, playable scene, assembly, and systems validation. The purpose: this operational thread is tasked with assembling, integrating, and testing all foundational systems into a basic playable scene to support rapid prototyping and demo readiness. The core responsibilities is to assemble and integrate completed AI, combat, and health damage systems into a functional test scene, validate movement, core behaviors, and system interactions within actual gameplay, and then identify, document, and report any blockers, missing features, or integration gaps threatening milestone 1 completion, and then coordinate directly with AI programming and combat logic threads for smooth event hookups and system validation. Maintain an updated inventory of tested features, validating their demo readiness, and provide clear, actionable progress and issue reports to the tactical layer for aggregation and upward communication. This thread is now active as the integration thread. Its primary responsibility is to assemble, integrate, and validate all foundational gameplay systems into a working scene, supporting rapid prototyping and milestone 1 demo goals. Direct coordination with fellow operational threads and prompt status reporting will be maintained in alignment with tactical management protocols. Okay, so let's just take this and move it over into the final of the operational threads. We'll make a space here, and we'll make a space there, and a space there, and then we'll send it through. Skip that and that. It's basically repeating the same thing as was in the thread. Then we just need to take the name, copy that, and then rename this thread with just that, and then make operational layer at the front. Save. Okay, so we've got about 20 minutes before the end of the session. Let's go into the combat logic and find out what's left here in this in this thread, in this operational layer, what's left to be done for stage 1. And then we'll start working on things, right? So let me ask this. What is left of this, of the combat system what is left, what remains to be implemented from the combat system, from the combat logic of this project. Feel free to ask me questions or request script and scene files to help you answer this question. We need to figure out what has been done and what must still be done before we can do anything. Stop that. It keeps asking. Okay, so to accurately determine what remains to be implemented from the combat logic, I need information on what has already been completed in your project. Not surprising. Please consider these questions and/or send relevant files to clarify your current status. Has the projectile and shooting logic been coded and tested for all planned weapon types? If so, which weapons are currently supported? And then, is the hit detection system operational? What methods, raycast, collider, etc. are being used? And are there any known issues? Has the health and damage system been fully integrated for player and enemies? Are status effects or healing functions implemented? Is there at least one AI-triggered combat pattern functioning for enemy behavior? If not, what aspects are still missing? Are expansion hooks present to allow for future weapons, effects, and advanced behaviors? Has structured collaboration or integration with other threads been implemented? Has regular reporting to the tactical layer been set up for blockers in progress? And have you already written or organized any script or scene files that handle these systems? If so, share them. If you send me current script or scene file details or answer any of the above, I'll use that specific context to list exactly what's missing, what's complete, and what should be prioritized next. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We have about 15 minutes. I think we can cover that. We can cover all of this in that amount of time. So let me first start by giving it all the various script files and scene files. And I think I want to test this. But when I asked it the last time, if it understands or can read a scene file, .tscn file, it told me no. I can't open that file. You have to open it as a text file or in a text editor and then copy everything and paste it down in the prompt file, in the prompt space, and then I can only understand what the scene is saying. I don't believe that. And so I want to test this. I want to take a scene file, a .tscn file, and drop it straight down as an attachment and see if it throws a tantrum. And if it doesn't throw a tantrum, then it was lying, and we should give it all the scene files directly and not open them in a text file and copy everything and paste it over, because that is extremely tedious and time consuming, and we don't want to do that. So we'll open up Godot Engine. Oh, the wrong one. I opened up the wrong project. That's better. Right. So let's go into our scene files. Scenes, test scenes, firing range, and the health bar test scene. Yeah, that one and that one. And then we'll just... Actually, you know what? Let's say open in an external program. Nope, open in the file manager. Okay, so now we want these. Just gonna... No. We'll just shrink from this end like this. Something like that. So now you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we want to do the firing range and the health bar test. We're going to attach these over here. Seems happy. And now we'll do the script files the same way, right? So we'll go back to scripts and combat, and then we'll add the health script. Then we'll go back to scripts and we'll say UI. We'll say the health display 3D .gd. I see. Okay. So here are some of the, so I'll make this uppercase, some of the .tscn and .gd files I need to share. Unfortunately, I can only upload 3 attachments at a time, so bear with me. As I share these files over multiple prompts. To answer your questions, question 1, has the projectiles and shooting logic been coded and tested for all planned weapon types? If so, which weapons are currently supported? The plasma bolt, the primary weapon of the defender and pirate vessels, is working, and and so is the mining barrel the primary weapon / tool of the mining vessel. The plasma bolt can only damage ships, whereas the mining barrel can only damage mining objects. There are groups to govern this damage restrictions. This damage restriction dynamic. Okay, so if I go in and I say node and I say groups, it's the mining object group and the target group. The target group and in the mining object group. Okay. We have about 9 minutes left, so let's try and answer all these questions, and then I'll do the remaining uploads after the live stream is closed, if we run out of time. And we'll do a recap at the start of our next session. Okay, so is the hit detection system operational? Yes, hits are operational. And the health decreases according to the damage dealt by the weapon / tool, in brackets, if it counts based on group restrictions. The primary detection method is using collisions like area 3D and collision shape 3D nodes. The next question: has the health and damage system been fully integrated for player and enemies? Are status effects or healing functions implemented? Yes, the healing, or rather the health and damage system is implemented. However, there is no and there is infrastructure in place to support where is it now? Healing but not status functions. Healing is not implemented fully yet. Okay, and then despite having the foundations for it. And then, is there at least one AI trigger combat pattern functioning for the enemy behavior? There are no AI triggered combat patterns functioning for enemy behavior yet. Are expansion hooks present to allow for future weapons, effects, and advanced behaviors? There are no hooks. There are currently no hooks present, and these should be added at the fundamental level. So implementation is easier in the upcoming stages of development. We have about 4 minutes and 3 points. We could just make it, but in case we don't, I'll take this exact moment to make a shout out to Cubes, our junior DevVenturer. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. And also to the rest of you, I invite you to go to the Coffee page listed in the bottom right of your screen over here, coffee.com/mtkdev. You can have a look at the various DevVenturer levels, the membership levels, and see which of them appeals to you, and from among the perks, which ones you think you want, and you know, and then go ahead and support the channel. And if you don't want to be a member, you can do a one-time donation too, and if that still doesn't work out for you, then just go ahead and like the video and share it with others and subscribe to the channel, because that is also an extremely valuable way to support the channel. And I appreciate everyone's support, all of your support, right? I appreciate your liking, I share, and the sharing, and the subscribes, and even the comments in the chats. I appreciate all of it because it keeps the channel moving forward and growing. So thank you so much, and we'll finish off here, and then we can close off, right? So we'll answer the last 3 questions quickly. Has a structured collaboration integration with other threads been implemented? The foundations are in place. However, there is no current inter-thread, or rather intra-layer communication going on. And has regular reporting to the tactical layer been set up? Yes. Yes. It's tactical reporting is set up. But no reports have been issued yet. And finally, have you already written or organized any script or scene files? I'm currently sharing these files with you over several prompts due to attachment limitations. Due to file attachment limitations. Okay, enter that in, and based on your detailed answers and the files listed, here's an updated list of what remains to be implemented for combat logic in your project. And on it goes, and time is up. So thank you so much for your attention and for your time, and I'll see you all in the next live stream.